Crosslanes Christian School. You may begin.
Okay, hi, my name is Rylee Witmer from Crosslanes Christian School, and I'm a junior, and as a junior in high school, thoughts of the future can be super intimidating, especially those in reference to college. Questions like, where am I going to go? Am I going to go in-state? What am I going to do when I grow up? And perhaps even most often, how am I going to be able to pay for it? So my question today is, can the student loan market be reformed? And while this question seems like it would most affect people my age up to college age, I'm actually going to focus from a completely different vantage point by taking it to middle-aged people and even retirees. So first of all, I'm going to show you two causes of student loan debt in middle-aged to retired-aged people, and then I'm going to show you the resolution that I think will be helpful. So first of all, lots of parents and grandparents are co-signing loans for their children and grandchildren in order for them to be able to go to college. So that's pretty much self-explanatory that, as the economy sways back and forth, that students are not able to pay for their college by themselves, especially since they need somebody who is already well off and somebody who has already been established in their career to be able to help them. So my second cause is one that perhaps even more maybe the most common cause, and that is that older Americans are increasingly taking student loans even for themselves. While blue-collar jobs are starting to dwindle in this present day, older Americans are going back to school and getting degrees to make their resumes look more appealing, since blue-collar jobs are not available for people who haven't gone to school. So when they go back to school, they're forced to take either an average pay job and not go to school, or they're forced to go to school and take many years of schooling for a well-paying job but have massive student debt afterward. Now, since older people have less time left in the workforce and more of a chance to become ill, it leaves them in a weaker position to be able to pay back their student debt. Less so even than younger people who, like I said earlier, tend to actually borrow from the older people. So according to the U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, more than 1/3 of those aged 60 and older with student loan debt had forgone medical care and even prescription drugs that they had been prescribed for any illnesses in order to pay back student loan debt. So obviously this is a major issue, because if people are not only foregoing buying things and things that aren't necessities, they're actually foregoing necessities and even medical needs. The government also takes part in this, not only obviously it wouldn't be forcefully by them foregoing medical care or foregoing prescription drugs, but the government actually can take out of Social Security to pay off their student loans from their past and even their present, and even take assets from them after their death, not only financially, but physical assets. So here's my solution after I've shown you the two causes of older people and retirees having a hard time paying student loan debt. While the government claims it will discharge federal loans for those with financial disability and those below the poverty line, it takes many years of paperwork and calls to be able to actually succeed in doing that. So my solution is to inform older borrowers before they're able to take a student loan that the loan will have consequences, like I said earlier, on the possibility of their own personal choices and medical needs and prescription drugs, but also in how the government will take from them through Social Security or personal assets after death. So not only to inform them is the solution, but also that the government would stop taking from the Social Security of those older Americans who are either below the poverty line or who are financially disabled. So while that will not obviously be available for everyone, it will provide not only a temporary solution, but also over time it will provide a large decrease in the number of older Americans not only taking out loans, but also those who are financially responsible for their loans. Ultimately, it comes down to the borrower, though, and it's their own personal decision. Are you responsible enough to make the decision about a student loan? And so know your consequences, and don't take any loan that you can't pay back in 10 years, because obviously, like I said, this was geared more toward middle-aged and retired-aged people. So those are people who have taken loans and have not been able to pay them back in 10 years. So I feel like that will be a good solution on the borrower's part. So like I said, the two causes mainly are parents and grandparents co-signing loans to be able to help with their children and grandchildren's college education, and then also older Americans taking them out for themselves in order to be able to get a job or have a better resume. And then my solution finally was that ultimately it comes down to the borrower and their personal responsibility, but the government could help, and the lines of social